All right, we are on page 6 of our Alchemy album. It's always bittersweet when you get to the end. You get to see how everything comes together, but it's sad that it's over. But have no fear, after this project is posted, I will be starting on the bonus album, and it's going to use the same pages. I might change the order around and change the paper collection, so you'll get an idea of what else you can do, and you'll be surprised how different something can look when you change the paper around, even though it's the same design. So stay tuned for that. That will be posted in a few days. And so let's get going with this. Page 6, you have 4 flaps you're going to cut. A is going to be 7 3/8 by 4 7/8. So that's 2 lines less than 7.5. And 4 7/8 is 2 lines less than 5. B, take that same piece. You already have your 7 3/8 cut, and just cut the next one at 3 5/8. So that's 2 lines more than 3.5. C is our pocket again, so that's 8 1/8 by 4, 2 lines more than 8. D is a top flap, so that's going to be 7 1/8, 2 lines more than 7 by 4 3/8. So that is 2 lines less than 4.5. So pretty much you're probably used to anytime you see a 3/8 is 2 lines less than half, and 5/8 is 2 lines more. And I just say it just in case someone's jumping in who hasn't made one of my albums, but you get used to that real quickly. All right, so we've got everything cut. Come back to me, hit pause, come back when you've got these cut, and now we're going to score them. So A is going to be a left flap. So we're going to score this with the 4 7/8 side facing the top. Flat side is up. Make sure that didn't move. No, okay. B is a right flap. So that is going to be with the 3 5/8 at the top. C is our pocket. So we'll start with the end that's going to be open, facing the top. And D is a top flap. So I'm going to have the short side at the top. Okay, so let's get tape on this. And let's fold our flaps over. And I'm going to cut this pocket. Go right up to where those lines meet and turn out a little bit. Okay. All right, so we've got page 6. I have that labeled over here. And let's take our flap A. And we're going to be putting that on the left-hand side. So I'm going to just turn it so the left-hand side's facing me. All right. And let me think about what I want to do as far as corner rounding. I do tend to like the corners rounded, so I am going to go ahead and do A and B. That's B. Well, I'm going to do D also. Okay. All right, so we've got A here. Just guide that to the end here. I've got a little bit of space, so that looks good. Right. And B, make sure that's B. It's going to be on the right-hand side. Now for our pocket, and there's just a little bit of space on each side. All right, so now before you take the tape off of this flap, and probably I shouldn't have corner rounded until I made sure it fit, but pretty sure it fit because I made this album already. Basically, you want to dry fit it. So just put it down with the flap tucked under. Give yourself a little weight on there. And just make sure you have a little bit of space showing, which I do. And now we're ready to place it. Okay. I'm not quite level there. Let me just adjust that. Okay. All right, and now we will do our magnets. Okay. So I'm going to have the left flap go down first, and this right flap is going to go on top of it. And let me just, what I'm going to do here, let me just look real quick. Okay, so I would like, let me see. I can't put, these two really only overlap by a 1/4 inch. So I am going to put the magnets for this one landing over here. Normally what I do is have these magnets landing on top, but there's not enough space. So we're gonna have this side land one on the pocket and one on the top flap. So first let's do the B side. And I do believe I need another pack of magnets. Now we're going to use one of the cards, and I'm going to put that on top of the A flap so that will have a magnet underneath it. So let's just see how this lays down. Okay. So that is down. All right, so now let's put 2 magnets on our A flap. And just before I tape this, I'm going to fold it over and see where it lands. Okay. All right. So I am down a little bit, as you can see, because I don't want to go too close to the edge, because then I'm going to be half on the flap, half off. It's just not going to sit right. So scoot yourself down a little bit. I can tell you that this is, from the top of that magnet, it's about 1 inch. But you can always just, before you tape it, just go and see where it lands. It's going to land right there on my tape, actually. So I gotta maybe adjust that tape. This is going to land a little bit on this tape, so I'm just going to fold it back a little. And same over here. Okay. And then I'll put another piece of tape, but I'm going to go the opposite direction. All right, so we have that. Okay, so let me show you what I did. And I'm going to show you real quick how to make one of those little booklets also. Bring out the design paper. Okay, so I chose this ephemera card. It's got the moon on it because there's a face here and there's a face on this paper I chose. It's got the writing on it and, you know, some swirls and suns. So I chose that for over here and here. This is all the same piece of paper. And then after I put that down, I put this down. Before I put my cardstock on the back, I have a magnet here, which lands over here. So make sure to do this side first, do your right side first, and then it lands over here, and then you put your design paper. Okay, so I've got a nice gray metallic on the inside. On our top flap, this moon and sun is the reverse side of this number paper. So this is all one piece of paper, and my favorite by far in this collection. I just love it. And this was on one of the sheets of paper that has bookmarks and different cutouts on it. So I just cut that out, stuck it to a black piece of paper, and then cut a little edge around it. So probably like 1/8 of an inch around. But I fussy cut that and then stuck that down with some tape. There's no magnet under here. It just lifts up. In your pocket, you have another ephemera card with our mechanical heart there, mechanical key heart. This was a leftover piece, so I just showed you. For this, I don't need to put this on black and then put the other side with brown. If you use this particular metallic paper, it's kind of thick and heavy, so it doesn't need that. So it's just, the thinner you make your book, the more pictures you can put in here. So I just stuck this on a piece of the cardstock, and then the other side is automatically a different color. So that goes in there. And this is just a leftover piece, so I cut out the 3 and stuck it there. And you can do that on your pullouts, because there is a fair amount of this paper left over. So I'm putting that down first. I'm going to write on there with a gel pen. The pullout is the gray because it matches the inside. I didn't yet, but I'm going to put a strip here, here, and here. Up to you if you want to or not. We did the pockets in the first video when I did page 1, but after you put your design paper, if you want, you can mat a piece of these little square cards on here, and then just give yourself an extra 1/2 inch and fold that over and make a flap if you want a flap, or you could just stick it down. Either way. But let me show you how to make one of these booklets. All right, so I'm going to first grab a leftover piece. Where did it go? Hold on. So I've got all this left over. This is the paper that had the little cutouts that I used on that pull. So there is a fair amount here. I'm just going to take the whole thing out. There's something. Here we go. Let's use this one. All right, so I have my card. I'm just going to trim off the edges here. I'm going to check over in my leftover cardstock, and let's just see if I don't. A leftover would have to be one of the ones that opens and closes like that. So I'm just going to take a new piece. So I am going to open up this one this way. So I'm going to just put it to the edge where I have just a little bit showing. And I've got like a few lines there. You can make that black line as thin or thick as you want. All right, so what I do is I'm going to turn this over, center that where I'm going to have it approximately. I take my pencil and put a little mark about the same distance as this top area right there, and that's going to be my score line. Fold that over and just cut the remainder off. And there we go. I have a little booklet. I can take this card, I'm going to ink the edge, put it down, and then I have a booklet. And then I'll put design paper on the inside and on the back. So easy peasy, that's how you do that. And I hope you like this project. It was a lot of fun. Wasn't too difficult. It makes a great gift because it's not too big and bulky. And please, if you enjoyed the videos, you enjoyed making the album, let your friends know. The more the merrier. And I will be coming out next week, in a few days, probably before the end of next week, definitely, with a bonus album for this. And then another week or so after that, I'm going to have another whole album with its own bonus book. So there will be several more coming very soon, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching.